Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Happy holidays to everyone in the viewing audience, and also a happy new year. The countdown is on. It is now Monday, 29th. In a few days, we will be in 2026, God willing. Amen. What was the worst crime 2025? Weigh in, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's been a long year. Oh, I think back to what I was doing here, there, this month, that month, and it just seems like every day, every month ran into the next one. And here I am now at the end of December 2025, still alive, still poking along, hoping for the best, and pondering, over things I've done, seen, experienced, things I've witnessed in the world, breaking news, horrific stories. And yet, Father Time waits on no one. The clock keeps ticking, going round and round, no matter your circumstance or situation. And that's life. So when you look back the past year, what story stuck out to you the most, weighed heavily on your spirit, your mind, your heart? True crime story. That's the topic of this live stream. What story, case grabbed you, tugged at you? I can't even begin to say because there's been so many. Who can keep up? Who can keep up? And that's just my honest opinion. They all start to mirror one another. That's what I don't like about true crime. Is that the stories mirror one another. If you go through the YouTube queue and you just scroll through, it's one baffling, chaotic, ignorant, baffling, horrific story after the other. Child, man, woman. And it's sad because this is what people need to understand. We are the problem. We make the news. We make the headlines. We commit the crimes. We are the witnesses. We are the ones that don't report the crime. We are the ones that lay in the cut and don't say nothing. We are the ones that uphold these people. Let's stay woke now. We aid these heathens. And it's sickening, especially when you're talking about children. The very reason why I don't like talking about children cases because they're daunting and they're mind-boggling because there's no reason to be unaliving a child, just like there's no reason to unalive another human. But we know that people get angry, they get upset, they get pissed off, they become vengeful, and now they want to exact harm against an adult. And I think all of us have had bad days, horrible days, where we wanted bad things to happen to another human, but we did not lay hands on them. We did not pay someone to lay hands on them. There's the difference. You can have the ugly thought, and even a psychiatrist might say, you're wrong for having ugly thoughts. I don't know. I never asked a psychiatrist or therapist. Is it wrong for me to have ugly thoughts about this person, wanting to hurt this person? And I can ask that question to you all in the viewing audience. Have you ever thought about unaliving another human, hurting a human, hitting them, slapping them, pushing them, shoving them, beating them in the head? You understand what I'm saying. Unaliving them. Wishing them bad luck. Oh, I wish something would happen to him. He makes me sick. Oh, I hate her. I wish she'd fall down a flight of stairs. We know those are not good thoughts. But many of us have had them. But we did not act on them. We did not act on them. So you're saying the Kohlberger case is the case that weighed on you? Or am I misunderstanding your comment? I can't say. because I've covered many in the past year, and I start to lose count. That's what's sad. And as I said to someone, as I said to a friend of mine, Tabitha, last night, you can summons mischief by engaging in it. I told her last night, I said, do you know how many people who were unalived watch true crime? People said that about them after their demise. Oh, she liked true crime. Oh, she liked this podcast. Yeah, and she ended up also unalived by another human being. So that's one reason why I really don't want to talk about true crime. That's one of my reasons. Because I don't want to summon doom to my door. Because it's in the scripture. I believe in God and I believe in the Bible. And Psalm says it quite frankly, point blank. Speak it and it shall be so. And it didn't clarify what you're speaking on. It just says speak it, which many of us will believe, speaking it into existence. And one could say, well, you're talking about somebody else's story. That don't mean it's going to happen to you. Well, the universe may say otherwise. Stay woke. Well, music, he's evil enough. You want to know every dirty detail about him? What are you saying? You talk about mischief, mayhem. You should surely know you may be talking about yourself if you are able to breathe one day. Do you understand what I'm saying? You talk about death, doom, gloom all the time, every day. Talk about other people's situations that you know. You should know that little boomerang, he is going to land at your damn door at some point, because that's usually how it is when you're talking about other people. You know how it is. You're talking about Susie, Dick, Paul, Bubba, Susie Mae, and what she did and he did and what somebody did to him and blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, you are facing a similar situation. And you probably are thinking about, damn, I was just talking about Susie Mae yesterday. Now look at me today. Exactly. That's why I don't like all that death and doom. Talking about people being unalived and butchered and this, that, and the other, because I feel like I could be summoning that same omen to myself. And as I said, it has been said in many true crime cases, the people who were murdered unalive by other people, they engaged in true crime. They liked true crime. They watched it. And I get it. We're all entitled to watch whatever we watch. True crime, books, movies, action movies, scary movies, whatever it is that you're into. But you don't know today that that same type of situation, let's say, you're watching could come and pay you a visit. I think about the young lady, Caucasian lady who's a teacher. I believe she was working at a private school in Memphis. And she used to run on the University of Memphis campus. And one late morning, she took a run, headphones, earpieces in, and she ran to her death. A black man kidnapped her and put her in an SUV, parked in a parking lot, sexually assaulted her, and then drove her to an abandoned house and dumped her after unaliving her, dumped her in the side back of the house. And the first thing we heard was she listened to, if I'm not mistaken, true crime, or she kept the earpieces in, which is dangerous. Don't ever run with earpieces in your ear, especially 1, 2, 3 in the morning. That's crazy. Memphis has a lot of crime. I'm not running nowhere in Memphis. I'll tell you that now. I don't care if I was in shape to run. If I was the shape of that white lady, I would not be running at 2, 3 in the damn morning in Memphis, Tennessee. Hell no. Nowhere is safe in that demographic. Not even the outside towns is safe to be wandering around in the AM. You're not even safe to walk around during the damn day, let alone in the AM. Because that's what happens to us. We get comfortable. And that's why many people end up a news story. You become comfortable in your surroundings. Letting the dogs out, opening the door, fresh air, opening the window. Like the past couple of days have been very warm here in East Tennessee. So I'm sure there have been many people who open their front door, open the windows. But you got to remember there's a creepy crawly out there, or shall I say crawler, who's hoping that you will do such things, such as opening your doors, screen doors, windows. You forget about it, and then he decides to pay you a visit in the AM, PM. You understand what I'm saying? Because in the end, what a lot of people don't understand about true crime is that it's going to be somebody, because the perpetrator is looking for a victim. He, she, they. It's going to be somebody. So it doesn't really matter if you're doing what you think is right or wrong. If they're looking to rob somebody by carjacking, it's going to be whomever they decide to choose. It won't matter your race, your height. If you are a veteran, you know how to do karate, that ain't going to matter. It's your day. And that's the scary thing about crime, is that you don't know when you are going to be in harm's way. And as I've always said on this network, don't ever think you can't be a victim. Honey, don't toot your own horn. Because I'm sure a lot of dead people thought the same thing. Oh, wasn't going to be me. I don't do anything to make a person want to unalive me. Yeah, you're breathing. That's reason number one. Checkmate. They don't have to know you. You didn't have to do anything to them. You didn't have to say anything to them. You were just in an eye view. You were in the perpetrator's eye view. That's enough. That's all it takes. There she is. Gonna go try to snatch that lady up right there. I'm gonna go try to rob that guy right there. He looks like he's got some money. He's well-dressed, nice car. Let me run up on him. Oh, she's got her back turned. She's loading groceries. Got a baby in the buggy. Perfect victim. Then you have people who are mentally ill. Schizophrenic, hearing voices, blah, blah, blah. And the voice said, hey, make my day. Go stab that person, shoot that person, whichsoever. This is a very scary world we live in. Very scary. And you cannot trust everyone. As I tell you, we are all navigating on blind trust. As I said, you have to have work done on your home if you're a homeowner. Somebody has to cut the grass. Somebody has to do the plumbing, the electrical. Something's broke. You have to call someone to repair the said situation. And you don't know him, they, from a can of paint. And you're trusting that person to come to your home and do their business and check out. But it does not always work like that. If they are sick, they have some sick fetishes, obsessions, dirty thoughts, messed up ways, even on the clock, they will hurt you, assault you, rob you, so on and so forth. And you've seen the stories. Delivery drivers dropping off packages, up to no good, peeping, kidnapping a little girl out there in Texas, was it a year or two ago? FedEx driver, sexually assaulted her, then unalived her. You're supposed to be working a job and you're up here picking up a little girl to assault her. That's brazen. I don't care what nobody says. Because one thing It's one thing to just roam through a neighborhood looking for a victim, daylight savings time. But to do it on your damn job in a work truck, you're hunting prey while delivering packages. Put that on paper now. And you pick up this little white girl and take her out in the middle of nowhere, do your thing, and then dump her like trash. That's a bold MF. I don't care what nobody says. So much for the creepy crawler lurking about in the dark. This motherfucker unalive a child, daylight savings time. Kidnapped a child during the daylight. So nowhere is safe. In your house, on your property, edge of the driveway, going to the mall, leaving work, going to work, sitting in your car, pumping gas. It don't matter. When the devil says it's your time, that's exactly what he meant. Sorry, Charlie. And we all need to be careful of where we go, where we frequent, posting things online, because you can leave here a multitude of ways. Have you not seen that? Breaking news, people you date, people you're friends with, people that don't like you, people you fell out with, people you may have shorted, defrauded, hurt, harmed. You can bring trouble your way also because you are a dirty bird. You lie, you stole, manipulated, and now somebody's coming for retribution. You could be related to somebody who's done something, and now somebody wants to take names. Oh, that's your brother, that's your sister. I want revenge. I don't give a damn about you. You can go down too. See, you don't know the hour, the moment you are a victim, and you do not have to do anything or say anything to anyone out of the way. You're just there. And the person wants to exact harm. We're at the end of the year, approaching a new year, God willing. And there have been so many stories that have captivated the news. So weigh in and tell me which news story tugged at your coattail. Was it the horror story? Little baby Emmanuel missing? Father finally pleading guilty, mother saying, oh, I don't know nothing. I'm innocent. What story tugged at you, weighed heavily on your heart? What story are you looking for justice? Very scary. This world is scary. I was just watching a video before going live about JonBenét Ramsey. And I was listening to this one YouTuber's content about the baby, I guess she would be the nanny. And she's basically like writing a letter to Patsy saying she was overwhelmed. I know you were overwhelmed, you had a lot going on. Your daughter wouldn't stop wetting the bed, blah, blah, blah. And my mind started, doing what it normally does. It goes in rotation. And I started thinking about everything I've heard pertaining to the storyline. And the one thing that stuck out to me in my memory was the ransom note written about the amount of the ransom, which was the same amount of money that the husband got as a bonus. Nobody would know that. I always tell people to pay attention because in the details is where the truth lies. The beginning of the story is where the truth lies. No random stranger knows how much money you have gotten, how much money you have in the bank, how much money you make an hour, unless, number one, you told it. Stay woke, everybody. So let's weigh the odds. Mr. Ramsey told people he knows, number one, how much he made a year and the bonus. And then that person decided to come in and assault his child and unalive his child in his basement. Stay woke now. What are the odds? Some thought the son did it. He was just a child himself. He wouldn't know anything about how much his dad got as a bonus. And I can't see a child writing that down in a letter. And then that didn't make sense either, leaving the letter, but yet you killed the kid. So why are you going to ask for ransom, but then unalive the child? All this talk of new evidence, testing old evidence, I got a feeling that one of those people in that house did it, and it was an adult, not a kid. So that leaves an outsider visiting that had personal knowledge of what was going on with the Ramseys and what they made to put that in a ransom, or it was those damn parents. Because you always have to use deduction. What a person knew, didn't know, what they could have known. And when you talk about putting in an exact amount of money in a ransom that an outsider would not typically know without having knowledge, then that leaves the people in the house. And nobody else was there, allegedly with the parents, the boy child, and then they said something about another relative was there visiting. So who did it? Was the mother tired, fed up, frustrated, had a lot going on, dealing with birthday parties, functions, got overwhelmed, daughter keeps wetting the bed. Maybe the little girl got up in the night and said, Mommy, I'm wet, I need my linen changed. The mother just wilded out. Stay woke. And when you Google why children wet beds, because I did that before going live, there are numerous reasons why a child could wet the bed. It could be genetics, it's because their bowels have not formally grown, or the worst case scenario, stress, trauma, child abuse, physical, mental, sexual. Was the child physically, mentally abused by her parents? Were they saying and doing things to her that make her feel inadequate that would cause her to use the bathroom every night, from what the nanny said? Genetics, child being given drinks before bed, or was somebody doing something to the kids, such as mentally, physically, sexually abusing the child? Stay woke, everybody. Because trauma would cause also the child to urinate on him or herself. I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on in their life. But the one thing I do know about people, and I can testify to this because I am a human being, is that everything is an illusion. That what you see ain't really what the F is going on. Nice people, nice home, well-dressed, well-manicured, great positions in life, jobs. But there's always some hanky-panky and foolishness going on that the general public has no idea about. Somebody's being abused, talked down to, physically, mentally, sexually, all of the above. It's just a matter of when it will hit the fan. That's why everybody's so shocked when they hear a crazy story about a famous person abusing, mentally, sexually assaulting, filming women, sleeping with girls, children, underage. Why are you shocked? You didn't know him? I said it all the time. P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. People get mad. Why are you downing him? What the hell are you talking about? I didn't do the dirty work, and you mad at me? No, you get mad at him. He's the one caught with his foot in a trap. My foot ain't caught in the damn trap. And I don't uphold no man because he's black and I'm black. See, Queen don't work like that. I remember a little while back, I was in my little wing spot I go to on Wednesday nights, and this black man was saying to me in a very eloquent way, you shouldn't say bad things about black men. We already have had it hard enough. And then, you gossiping or repeating he said, she said, or what they did. Oh, no, wait a minute, homeboy, let me check you right there. I say, what a person decides to do, which makes the Eyewitness News, ain't got nothing to do with Queen. Whether I talk about the subject or not, the point is he has committed a crime. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So if it ain't Queen talking about him, Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, his mama, daddy, cousin, the neighbor, gonna talk about him. Come on with it, Queen. Makes no sense what you're saying. And see, I don't play that type of game when it comes to being black. You did something you had no business, such as red rum, sexual assault, abuse. Hell yeah, I'm going to repeat the story. Who are you to me? Give a damn about you being black, and I'm black. Well, oh, don't talk about it. We've had hard times. Black men have had hard times. Well, black women have had hard times too. What's your point, brother? You want me to give this Negro a pass because he's black? Hell you talking about? You don't get a pass if you Arab, Jew, Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, Latina, black, white, Caucasian, European, I don't care. Let me make that clear. I don't see no color when it comes to abuse. Maybe you should talk to the victim and see if they care. Well, he's black, give him a pass. Because he beat me up. He sexually assaulted me. Nah, I don't think so. But that's the type of world we live in. People aiding and abetting criminals, crooks, abusers, because they can. Whether they are black, white, Latino, Latina, Jewish, Arabic, don't matter. Muslim, don't care. That's my friend. That's my brother. And let me school you on something. This is a true story, what I'm going to repeat to you. Somebody I know knows the black man that shot the sheriff deputy in Blount County and unalived him and shot at the white lady who was also a deputy, 2 deputies. And what this person told me recently was, you don't know what was going on with him, what he was going through. He didn't do this, he didn't do this, he didn't smoke drugs, he didn't do this. I said, well, really, that don't matter what you're talking about. He killed somebody. What the hell are you talking about? What are you going through? We all going through something. But if I get pulled over and the cop says they want me to step out of the car, that's what the hell I'm going to do. It don't matter what he or she said. I smell this, you look glazed, blah, blah, blah. If he or she says, ma'am, could you please step out of the car? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the instructions because I don't want to end up a George Floyd story, Breonna Taylor story. I'm going to step my happy black ass out of the car. It don't matter if I was getting high, drinking, smoking reefer, whatever, big girl coming out of that car. Did you understand what I'm saying? Ain't no running, ain't no shooting, ain't no fighting, ain't no nothing. So when you say you don't know what he was going through, I don't give a fuck what he was going through. He should have got his big ass out that damn car. Because like I told him, I said, well, if you was smoking weed, what's wrong with taking the weed charge? I'd rather take the weed charge than be facing the death penalty for killing a white man. Come on with it. I'm woke. You done killed a white man and shot at a white woman, and you black in a racist ass county in Blount County, and you think they ain't gonna put your black ass to death? And you is light as snow. You could be white from where you look, but they don't care you black to them. They gonna put your black ass to death. And here you go, this person I know talking about, you don't know what he was going through, and he wouldn't have never done this, and he wouldn't have smoked this. And I was looking at him like, you sound like a motherfucking fool. But you know what I learned? Don't argue with a fool. Because there come a point when Queen says, let a fool talk. Because you are on the same page with the motherfucker that shot the deputy, look like to me, and you act like you fucking ignorant. Them white folks gonna be 12 white folks on that jury. You can believe that, but it ain't gonna be no black person on that fucking jury. And they all gonna vote guilty. And yes, they gonna say, put that big black boy to death. I'm woke. And then you have to nerve to tell me recently you trying to talk to him and sign up and talk to him locked up and get on the phone card business. Well, what y'all getting ready to talk about? Now I'm being messy. What y'all getting ready to talk about? And I get it, everybody needs friends, but he killed a man. And yeah, when the white man pulled up, the deputy, he was rude. You can watch the video for yourself. I showed it last months back. The white man was hyped up. Get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car, because he didn't want to get out of the car. He was called as a backup. But see, the heart let that escalate. Because the more they tell you to get out of the car, you won't get out because you feel like, why? I ain't done nothing. You're escalating the situation to where you can end up a victim just because you won't get out of the damn car. Why do you want to put yourself in a situation when you know a lot of black people have been unalived by white police officers? And you're just going to keep sitting your black ass in that car. I ain't going to get out. I ain't getting out. I know my rights. Well, you in jail now too. How about that? I don't care if you ain't smoked dope, cigarettes, drank nothing. When they tell you to please step out of your car, just step out. And I don't care what race you are, step out. Because white people have been shot by police officers, white police officers as well, black whomever. Why end up a statistic when all you had to do was step your ass out of your car? They pulled him over because they said he was weaving. And next thing you know, it ends up, backup is called, female officer was on the scene, then a backup was called, another white guy comes, a deputy, he's running by the mouth, and boom, 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 the heart starts shooting everybody in sight. Why? Like I told my associate, I said, he shouldn't have shot him. Whether he was smoking weed, not smoking weed, Pookie Ray Ray was in a car, has been smoking weed, it don't matter. If the lady says, I smell marijuana, could you please step out of the car? Then you step your ass out of the car. And that's that. Lennox says a cross between what? Charlie Kirk and the girl that was stabbed on the what, Lennox? I'm scared to even ask you about why Charlie Kirk case bothered you. I'm probably going into the belly of the beast. Belly of the beast by asking. I would tell anybody, if you're ever pulled over, do what they ask you to do. I know all about Blount County. I remember getting pulled over one night, leaving the club, and the lady said I was weaving on the interstate. Sheriff, officer, whoever she was, police. She got smart with me on the other side of the passenger window. Because all I asked her was, well, why are you pulling me over? That's all I asked. And then she said, because you were weaving. Then she said, why are you getting smart? I said, how am I getting smart by asking you? I said, ma'am, it is a.m. I just saw you at the car of a white man on the side of the road. I said, yes, I pay attention when I drive. I said, ma'am, you were just at the car with a white man. So I do have every right to ask you why you were at my passenger window. She knew what time of day it was. What you think that white woman said to me? Oh, I see you ain't drunk. Go ahead on about your way. Because she knew it didn't sound right. You were just at some white man's car little bitty sports car, had him pulled over. I saw him when I was coming down the highway. They was on the right-hand side of the road. So just as quick as I looked over to the right hand and saw her standing there, when I looked back at my car, look at my rearview window, she was on me with the lights. And I thought, what the hell is this? See, sometimes I will say, sometimes I think they're looking for a fool. I'm not a fool. I wasn't rude. I wasn't being nasty. I didn't curse her out. I didn't say nothing. I just, when the window was rolled down, and she said, I saw you weaving back there. I said, weaving? I said, well, ma'am, you all are doing construction. I'm not familiar with this area. And I said, well, what's the problem? She knew what time of day it was. Well, what could she say? Especially if she knows she pulled somebody over and it was for the wrong reason. Now, maybe had one tire out of the lane. I don't know. I just know the highway's been working on for years. They're still working on the damn highway to this day as I speak. You can Google it. The fucking road been under construction from what people say about 10 years. So the lanes ain't straight. But the point is, you do have to know your rights. And even if you're being cordial, ask the question, it can lead to something crazy. But that's what those body cameras are for. In the end, it'll tell the truth. Well, officer, she's just asking a question. Why'd you pull over? I mean, she does have a right to ask. That is my right. That's everyone's right. Oh, what did I do, officer? But you can best believe if that white woman said, ma'am, I need you to step out of the car, I gladly would. Because ain't nobody getting ready to break out no windows, drag me out, suffocate me, choke me. Because they having a bad damn day. Hell no. Just follow the law. Okay? You ain't got to agree with getting pulled over, why you pulled over. But if you get pulled over, they ask you for your identification. Put your hands up first and tell them what you're about to do. I'm going to reach in my purse. I'm going to reach in my glove box. I'm going to reach in this console. I'm taking my time. So that way they don't think you're reaching for a gun, knife, whatever. Always tell them what you're getting ready to do. So as you don't end up a catastrophe. As I said, this has been a daunting year for me. I've been through everything you can think of, mishaps, this and that. And I'm trying to get on the road to recovery of being, a better person, praying that I deal with better people. I pray, I ask God, bless me, or I get in the company of better human beings, people who are not users, liars, manipulators. That's my wish for every day, whether it's New Year or not. I do know that, as I've told you so many times in the recent videos, I'm in a place where I'm fed up. I'm tired of dealing with people, nonsense, tired of being forgiving. But then, as they say in the scripture, well, you have to forgive to be forgiven. Makes sense. But we don't always think, about that at the time when we're angry with people. But God forgives us. So the question is, why not you and I forgive someone for their trespassing against us? And God knows people will say, well, you forgave Bob for what he did. Why you can't forgive Patty for what she did? Very good question. Maybe I ain't ready to forgive Patty yet. Shut your mouth. It happens like that sometimes. Because we're human. And that's the thing people fail to realize when it comes to being a child of God and believing in the Bible, is that we are of the flesh. So if it took me a while to forgive Bob, you should know it might take me a while to forgive Patty. It's the same game. And my redemption is on me. It ain't on you. Because in the end, you don't stand account for what I do and don't do and what I've done. But we all should be a work in progress to better ourselves. Our mindset, our thinkings, our tongue, work in progress. And although I did a little potty mouth talk during this live. Please forgive me. I'm a work in progress as well. But I'm praying for a better year, new year. I'm praying for our children because they need our prayer the most because they don't ask to be here and they did not choose their benefactors. Shut your mouth. Kids don't ask to be here. But I think if I was to think of some stories that bothered me the most this year would be Celeste Rivas Hernandez, Emmanuel Haro, and this Melody Buzzard cases tugging at me. You don't know people. And I think if I go farther back into the first year, the young lady from Chicago who was a transgendered person, that case tugged at me then. What happened to her? Was she unalive? Did she walk into the ocean to unalive herself? What happened to her? I don't hear any more about her. No more updates. Was she mad at the world, angry? Did she feel like she was living in an unforgiving world? So you never know what's going on with people. What makes them tick? What makes them happy? What makes them sad? You just don't know people. But I'm praying for justice. For Melody, for Emmanuel Haro, and Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Because in the end, these children didn't ask to be here and they didn't choose their parents, just like you and just like myself. It is not your fault you're born to dysfunctional people, cruel people, wayward people. And sadly, how you're raised and reared forms your identity. And that is the reason why we have true crime today, is because how people came about, how they were raised, how they were treated. And they carry those demons from childhood to adulthood. That's why a lot of people are wayward, because they were mistreated as children, such as pedophiles. Most pedophiles were assaulted as children, if you did not know that. So they're only mimicking what was done to them. And sadly, they become adults, they don't get help, they're now touching children inappropriately. Children watching violence, sexual violence, promiscuous adults, they're carrying that into adulthood. Now they're exacting what they saw, what they witnessed, what was done to them. This is why we live in dire times, because one, you cannot tell people how to raise their children. You can't tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing in front of their children. Children are very intuitive. If you listen to these videos out here of children talking to their parents and talking to the camera, these kids are grown as hell. It's really scary. The conversations I've watched over the years since being on social media, how children talk, how they act, how they respond. These kids are like little old people in little bitty bodies. They're woke. And I mean, they talk to their parents like they're the parent. I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm not hungry. I don't want that. I want McDonald's. I don't want that. I don't like that. I want some Jordans. I want this. You need to hush. You need to be quiet. You know you wrong. You be looking like, who the hell is the parent? Because sometimes, we laugh at those videos, but really we shouldn't be laughing, because it's the start of a problem with children talking back to their parents. Because in my day, there was no iPhone, Android to go live and film kids, mama, grandmama doing any damn thing. You probably back then would have got your head busted pulling out a damn camera talking about you getting ready to film people walking around the house and doing stuff. No, you ain't ready to film nothing. You had a Polaroid, that's all you had. But we are in a different time, are we not? We're more wayward, we're more vocal. We get crunk easily, angry easily, lash out, put people on blast. Dangerous. Very dangerous. That's what we have today in our time. Everybody's vocal. I tell myself that sometimes. Well, she just said that, or should you be taking pictures of your house, what you ate for dinner? And I don't go live often on my other social media pages. I don't show a lot of things on my other social media pages. A lot of my pictures, from the home and apartment, what it looked like low. It's been years ago. I only showed you all where I moved recently, but I'm not going live showing you things. I'm not walking around filming people every day. I don't go live on my other platforms. I don't do that. I don't have the time. I don't want to. Thousands of things I could talk about, but it's time consuming and I ain't getting paid to do it. So I tell myself, hell, what's the point? I barely make any money off this YouTube channel, quite frankly. And I've told you all about that a few weeks ago. If you knew what I really made on this channel, you would tell me, shit, you might as well not even go live. I get more money now just from my shorts than I do my actual live streams. Hello, Jess. And I couldn't understand that. I said, damn, you get more views on your shorts. 15 seconds YouTube gives us. 15 seconds, Dougie Fresh. 15 seconds. And I sit here and go on and on and on and talk minute for minute for minute for minute, hour or two, and get no views. And I don't go out here and I don't bang, 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 shoot up nobody. Because I ain't getting no views. I ain't trying to knock over no little kids, no old lady. You see what I'm saying? I accept it. And I feel like I work hard. I always try to do research before I talk. I give you a source. But I don't get my just due. But the one thing about it is I deal with it. I did this because it was, recommended from a friend at the time. Oh, you should get a YouTube channel. You're trying to be an actress. Da, 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 da. This is a way to get your name out there. But it's slow running. I made more money 4 years ago than I do now. And even then, that wasn't a lot of money compared to what some YouTubers make. But it is what it is. But the one thing I can say about this network, I don't make up stuff and I don't pass misinformation deliberately. If I repeat something from a source such as the news, that's where the source is coming from. Okay? If they have misprinted, misquoted something, I get wind of it, then I'll come back and gladly tell you, hey, what I said in that live came from ABC 17 woo woo, and they said this is not right woo woo. I don't have no problem clarifying it. But what I don't do is make up SHIT on my network for likes and views. I don't do like a lot of YouTubers. They put up crazy posts and titles, make you think they got the juice and the tea on something. When one, it's a lie, it's not verified. I don't do that. Because in the end, like I said before, you got to own your SHIT. And what goes around comes around. As soon as I lie on somebody else, somebody would do the same to me. They'd lie on me. And I wouldn't be a happy camper. So I'm not going to do it to somebody else. Even if it's people in the story I don't like, don't care for. True crime is a tricky subject. A scary one. Because you don't know the day that you yourself could become a documentary. And I'm sure many people who have committed crimes didn't think that they would end up a news story. I mean, think about it. Who grows up saying, oh, yeah, when I get 35, 36, I'm going to unalive my husband, my wife, make the news? Who does that? Not many people. And as people always love to say, oh, you don't never know what situation you're going to be in. Very true, as I said about dealing with law enforcement. You're right. You don't know what kind of cop deputy you're going to get, state trooper. But I know me. And I know I'm not going to argue with nobody, cuss nobody, wild out, rolling my window down. That's the point. Now, what he or she does, that's on them. That ain't on me. They want to get crunk and manhandle me and drag me out the car. They got to sleep with that. I don't. But I'm going to be as respectful as I know how. But as we know with true crime, that doesn't mean anything. Because the nicest of people have ended up dead. Minding their business. When somebody broke in, kicked the door in, followed them home from work, approached them outside their car from work, approached them before going into work, followed them somewhere, and unalived them for whatever reason. This is why I always tell you, no one is exempt from being a victim. Nobody wakes up saying, I'm going to be a victim today. Somebody's going to poison me. Somebody's going to unalive me, shoot me, stab me. Who thinks like that? And sometimes it may cross your mind. Oh, did I say something? Am I going to die in a vicious way? I don't want to die in a vicious way. I can tell you that now. I want to die like how my great grandmother died, Frances. I want to die in my sleep. I went to sleep. I closed my eyes and then I passed away. I don't want to fight. I don't want to be strangled. I don't want to be suffocated. I don't want to be put in a tub, alive, a drum, put upside down, head first, stuffed in there. I don't want to be in a fire. I don't want to be shot. I don't want to be pushed off the ledge of a building. I want to die peacefully. And I think about that sometimes because I'm human. How am I going to leave here? Am I going to be sick? Am I going to have cancer? Am I going to have kidney failure, heart disease, car wreck, crossing the street, walking? What? That's why I have a lot of phobias now. I don't like crossing streets. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like crossing streets. I don't like being a passenger in a car. I don't want to be in your car. Oh, I'll give you a ride. I don't know about that. Because most people can't drive. We already have people saying Tennesseans are bad drivers. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't want to be in nobody's car. Because the one thing people do when they get in their car is they fumble around. You're messing with the radio, the phone, you're trying to play the music, you're doing this, you're putting on lipstick, you're trying to eat, you're trying to smoke a cigarette, you got to call Pookie, Ray. Oh, no, you don't do it on my time. And I'll tell you to your face, I don't have no problem. Like, can you do that later, please? I'm trying to get to my destination. Weaving, wobbling, bobbling all over the line like you want to get pulled over by the police. Do it on your time. Don't do it with Queen in the car. I don't know how many times I've been in somebody's car and I was cringing. Feet literally about to bust through the soles of my shoes and leave an imprint in the bottom of your floorboard. Digging nails into the seat like, oh, Lord, I'm going to die in here. And my heart races every time I get in somebody's car. I'm not a good passenger. I'm not a good passenger at all. I'm not a good passenger on public transportation. I'm probably more at ease in a damn airplane than I am inside of your car. And as they say, you're quicker to die on the ground than in an airplane. I believe somebody's right about that. Because when you're in a car, the driver is doing all kinds of crazy shit. They got the radio up, they're fumbling with stuff, they're talking, they're messing with cords, phones, and then they're trying to talk to you. They're looking at you while they're driving. Don't look at me. Don't look at Queen. Look at the road. You can't talk to me without looking at me. You got to look at me to talk to me. We're not sitting on sofas where you need to look at Queen. No, boo-boo, you need to look at the road. That's my phobia. I own it. I don't have no problem admitting it. Excuse me. That's my phobia. Excuse me. Oh, no, I get hiccups. I guess everybody has them. Car crash. One of my other phobias. I don't want to die in a car crash. I've had dreams where I was in car crashes. And right at the point of impact or I'm ejected, I wake up. What that means, I don't know. But dreams are powerful. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I got some bad hiccups. Uh, House being broken into. One time I moved out of an apartment and I was coming back to get the rest of my things. Luckily, I had gotten everything out except for this little bitty portable dryer. It was left in the little pantry area. When I got to the door, I saw the door was ajar. And I realized somebody had broken into the apartment. The little dryer was still there. I went, checked everything in the apartment because it was empty at that point. Went upstairs, they had broke off the bathroom mirror, I guess to smoke the crack on or whatever. They had used the bathroom in there. Done a number two. Excuse me. I mean, they didn't leave it, but I could tell they had been in there and used it. And I thought, wow. Imagine had they got in there when you left all your dress clothes on the floor. Because the first night I moved out, I stayed at the new apartment. And then the second night I went back to get my dress clothes, got them out. And I think it was the third time I went back to check on the apartment. That's when I realized that somebody had broken the apartment. And over the years, that's 25 plus years, 25 and a half, I've always had bad dreams in correlation to that event. It don't matter where I've moved over the years, in 25 years, I'll always dream that somebody has broken into the apartment. And I've had that same dream in different places that I've lived. I'll wake up or go to the door and realize somebody's broken into the apartment. Maybe wake up from sleep and realize somebody's broken the apartment or somebody's trying to get in the apartment while I'm in the apartment. It's very strange dreams. But your subconscious is always working. Things you don't think you're focusing on and thinking about, you'll dream about them. And that's one dream I have repetitively over 25 years. Living somewhere, it doesn't matter where the place is. And a lot of times, the apartment will be similar to the one I was living in at the time that had gotten broken into. I'll be, in a dream, it'll be like I'm still living there, excuse me, and the person broke in, or I'm in this other apartment building I used to live in, a high rise, and somebody's broken into that apartment. Very strange. I say it's from trauma, because you go through a little bit of trauma in different places where you live, and you dream crazy stuff pertaining to those places. I'm not going to hold you all, but I'm going to put up a comment on my community page, and you tell me the true crime that stuck out to you, that weighed heavily on you, tugged at you, and you tell me why. Excuse me. I know I got the hiccups really bad. Tell me why that story tugged at you. I think the children's stories weigh on me the most because naturally no one should be unaliving a child. There's no logical reason to unalive a child. And now the story with Melody Buzzard being found in Utah, more than likely they'll probably try the case there because that's where her body was found. And her mother sitting in court looking like a damn fool, like she's all timid. You know you unalive your daughter, you didn't have no reason. And I want to say this before I check out of here. about mental illness because I've lived around people who are allegedly mentally ill. The one thing I have seen with people mentally ill, schizophrenic, whatever, is that they do things that sane people do, such as smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, partake in drugs, have sex, talk about sex, ask for money. So where there's the confusion to me, if let's say one of these people decided to unalive a person, child, how mentally ill are you? Because you are hearing that pertaining to this Ashley Buzzard. She was dealing with mental illness. Well, what was it? Because she has shown intent to deceive. That's why the district attorney, sheriff's office, police office gave the rendering they gave last week pertaining to her arrest. She's diabolical. She intended to kill this kid. You rented a car, you wore disguises, you and your child, changing tags on the back of a car. The child had to notice that. The child had to wonder why the mom wanted her in a wig. We learned the house was in disarray. Maybe it was from the raid search. I don't know, but I think possibly she wasn't living her best self with her child. And when you look at the child's younger pictures that they're now showing on News Nation, the little girl seemed to be a little bit chubby. But the girl standing at the counter with the mother was skinnier. So I won't doubt that either the child grew out of her baby fat or the mother probably wasn't feeding her, excuse me, feeding her properly. And you hear that a lot with children being abused, malnourished. She wasn't sending the kids to school, that was mentioned. So in my mind, they can bring up all day what this woman had wrong with her. But at some point, she knew right from wrong because she was meticulous in the planning of getting rid of her kid. And that shows she knew what she was doing, no matter what her illness was, diagnosis. When you decide to wear a wig, rent a car, drive states over, change tags, put a wig on your child, come back, people start asking questions, news gets involved, you take signs down from your yard, you got a whole lot of sense. And that's what we have to weigh when it comes to people being mentally ill and they are showing intent to murder. How sick are they? Because it looks like the intent weighs higher than the mental illness. And as somebody would say, there's something wrong with all of us. Exactly. Exactly. But everybody does not unalive children and people, grown-ups. So I don't really care about what the hell was wrong with Ashley Buzzard. She showed intent and knew right from wrong. So I don't want to hear that she had schizophrenia, this and that. That shit don't mean nothing because she didn't unalive the child right there at the house and just lived with her while she's stuffed in a bin or in the closet or lying in a bed. Once you cover a death, you plot the death, you go to extremes to cover the death, exact the crime, you know right from wrong. So you're not what I would consider mentally ill. Because as I have said before, there are many people that I've met that were bipolar, schizophrenic. They talked, they knew where they were. They knew how to talk about sex. They knew how to procure sex. They knew how to ask for money. They knew how to beg. They knew how to smoke cigarettes, smoke drugs, drink alcohol. They are aware of their faculties, where they were, their surroundings. So the question is, how mentally ill are they? Just saying. And that's the question we need to ask pertaining to Ashley Buzzard. If she's mentally ill, then what's the hell wrong with her? Because she plotted the death of her child, and there's no way around, and nobody in their right mind who sits on the jury panel to say she didn't know what the hell she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing. And she perfected the crime, and she carried it out. And sadly, that child didn't get a chance. And another thing that I get sick of hearing, people bringing forward their synopsis of what the person and the children's lives were like beforehand. What's the point? Everybody's got a story to tell of what somebody's life was like before they were unalive, before they went missing, what the mom, dad was like, blah, blah, blah. What difference does it make? The little girl's dead. Oh, could she have been saved? Could he have been saved? Possibly. But somebody has to step up. And people don't like getting involved in anything that they know that's going to end up in a courtroom because they don't want to have to testify, and they don't want people digging up stuff about them, their life, their past. And I get it. Nobody wants to be put on Front Street when they're allegedly trying to do right. But that's exactly what's going to happen if you go forward and tell anything. You go to court, prosecution is going to ask, or their attorney's going to ask you questions. Did you have kids? How did you raise your kids? How do you live? And have you been arrested? All that's going to come out. Do you have any CPS reports? Blah, 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 blah. The very reason why people don't like reporting crimes, the very reason why people don't like telling on people who have that are abusing their kids, because they don't want to end up in court testifying and their little dirty secrets come out. And then the flip side is some people just don't give a damn. So they don't care that a kid's being abused, starved. You see people every day out here with children, and you can look at them and tell they don't need no kids. And you've never been in their house, you've never conversated with them, but they're doing and saying things to show you they don't need kids. They're cussing them out, calling them names, yanking them up, and you're like, "Ooh, if you're doing that in public, oh, I know you're doing it behind closed doors." I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out here. When I was at the Orthopedic Institute today, checking out, I was standing at the window and I started smelling something offhanded. So me being queen, I looked around. No, it's not me, because I took a shower before I went to the doctor's office. This white lady was standing next to me. She was young, and she had a little baby in a carrier, and the carrier was on the floor because she was at the next window checking out. And I know the smell was coming from her. And the first thing I thought was, is the baby clean? Because if I can smell you and you're inches away from me checking out at your window, why am I going to believe that that baby in that carrier is clean? Stay woke now. And it took everything out of me to hold my breath and not say out loud, what the hell is this smell I'm smelling? Because there ain't nobody standing there but she and I. And the people behind the window would have been looking like, oh, shit. And then she would have been looking like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? I'm talking about your big ass. Yeah, I am. You done crawled out your bed and brought your baby out into the cold to the orthopedic doctor smelling like a wild boar. I said that. You got up and didn't wash your TAIL and brought your baby with you smelling like a stinking old wet rag. I know what I smelled. Because when I first walked up to that window, there were people standing there. I didn't smell anything. I ended up going to the ladies' room because I said, well, by the time I get to the bathroom, come back, maybe the line will be clear, which it was. So I go to the window. I mean, she walked up to the window. When I smelled it, and I said, "This woman stinks." And then you're standing here with a infant and a baby carrier. So that told me, yeah, the baby probably stink. Because you ain't washing your ass, you ain't washing that baby. But you see, that's what's out here. People who don't care about themselves. This is the reason why we have true crime stories. They woke now. And these are the same people who will end up on the news because it starts with the small things, such as getting up in the AM, not washing your ass, don't wash your baby, don't take care of your baby. Now you got the wrong people around your baby. God forbid you pop off, get mad, got a bad temperament. Now you're throwing your baby around, stomping on your baby, and now you're making the news. Stay woke. There's no reason to be walking around here, one, smelling stinky. And also, I won't doubt that baby stunk. Because the same breath it takes to clean yourself, it would be the same to clean your baby. What's the difference? You want me to believe she bathed her baby before coming out, but didn't bathe herself? Come on now. And the first thing I thought was, ooh, I can only imagine the type of life they have where they live. Trailer, apartment, house. It's probably stinky, nasty, food everywhere, 5 cats, 6 dogs. They're shitting everywhere. Baby bottles nasty on the countertop, dishes full, sink full of dishes, trash overflowing. Yeah, I'm saying it. Because what I smelled in that doctor's office today, I know damn well her house is nasty. Car probably nasty, stinks too. McDonald's cups, bags in the car, back seat. Oh, I know them kind. Because that's how a lot of filthy pigs live. Your car is nasty, your house is nasty. They go hand in hand. The car is nasty, the house is nasty, you're nasty. Checkmate. Uh-oh, kids, they're nasty. Uh-oh, pets, they're nasty. This is why I feel bad for children. Because one, they don't ask to be here. Two, they didn't choose their parents. They didn't choose their environment. And they have to go out here in the world and sometimes fend for themselves because they just don't have adequate parents. Their parents are just living day to day for day to day. Don't care, don't bathe, don't comb their hair, don't keep their house clean, don't keep their car clean, don't keep their house up, don't keep the yard up. They don't care because we have people here who have just given up. And that's what you're seeing with true crime. These people have given up. He don't want me. Well, I'll go unalive him. He don't want me. I'll go kill him and the new wife, new girlfriend. Watch that early this morning. Why? Move on. The man don't want you. Move on. Nothing wrong with crying, stomping. Hell, go in the middle of the field and just scream your heart out. But don't go unalive the man. Don't go unalive his girlfriend. Childhood, mentoring children, being a mother, father, it's not for you. Well, you don't go knock off your kid. Go get some help. Go get some mental help. You don't like being a mother? Okay, don't have no more children. You don't like being a father? Put a condom on. Stop having babies. It's all the same. Stop making excuses. A lot of people realize something was not for them, and they said to themselves, I don't want to be in this situation again. So you realize motherhood ain't for you. You don't go get pregnant again. You a father, you don't go get produce a baby again. You say, this ain't for me. And you don't get back in that situation. And that's what people need to start doing. Accept the fate that's been handed to you and deal with it. He don't love me. Well, I need to leave him alone. She don't love me. I need to leave her alone. I need to leave this relationship, this courtship. I need to move on. I need to get a divorce. I need to just move on. I can't handle it. I need to take steps to find somebody that can help me. Whether that's letting the family keep the child, adopt the child out, put the child in foster care, do what you need to do so you don't hurt your kid and you end up cracking up in the end. It's called self-preservation. And you don't know how to navigate with kids, get help. But definitely don't keep having them, because there's no excuse to me to keep having, making excuses. Oh, I got 5 kids, 6 kids, it's hard. Well, the flip side of that is, well, you did produce them. I feel bad for people who have kids and are struggling, but I also have to use deduction. You opened your legs and got pregnant. You pulled out your penis to some stranger and got her pregnant, or a baby mama, girlfriend, whatever, husband, but you can't afford them. Then why do you keep making them? So at some point, we as people have to own our SHIT. We have to stand account, stand in the gap, and own the part, the role we play. There's no way in this day and age anybody needs to be out here making babies back to back to back to back and say, oh, I'm having a hard time. Well, hell yeah, you're having a hard damn time. Do you know how much milk costs? Seriously. No, honey, I'm not way over my head. Brandon, I talk about what I want to talk about. I've been doing this for over 6 years, honey. I talk about anything and everything. So you go back in somebody else's chat and pass the word. And more than likely, that's some lonely, creepy, crawly that likes floating through the chats, trolling, because that's what miserable people do, is troll. As I was saying, you know what is good for you. You know what you're not adjusting to well, then you take the necessary steps to better your circumstances. But there comes a point where we all have to stand account for ourselves. You keep attracting bad men, horrible women. You have to say, well, what can I do better? I need to assess the signs when I see them and stop giving people second chances. Stop going back in when I see shit ain't right out the gate. Got to stop making excuses for myself, That's what we all have to say. I don't have to be extending an olive branch to a fool. I gave the fool a chance one time. That's enough. I'm bowing out. Because, as I said, many people who have been arrested probably have said to many reporters, family members, I don't know how I got in this situation. I loved him, loved her, blah, blah, blah. I never thought I would do this. See, the reason why people end up a true crime suspect is because, one, they're either empty, a sociopath, a psychopath, or they went into the lion's den too many times. Take your pick. They went into the belly of the beast and they lied in there instead of trying to crawl their way out. And they became fed up. Or they're just evil and the other one is mentally ill. And then when it comes to this mental illness business, It's all about interpretation, such as the case with the Reiners. Mr. Reiner was told his son was a manipulator, and he didn't want to believe that about his child. And that was the fate he took, he and his wife. For all I know, the wife could have agreed with the therapist, psychiatrist. But she went along with her husband. We don't know because the dead can't talk. But look at the end result. 2 people are dead. Children, 2 children are now without their parents. And other family members and friends are mourning vicious murders of a man and a woman. Married couple. Yes, that case bothered me too. Thank you, Craig. See, there's so many I can't keep up on it. Sometimes, as I'm saying right here, it going in the belly of the beast and not wanting to crawl your way out, it can get you dead. This is why we have true crime, because people didn't bow out. And even when you bow out, you can still end up deceased. The person wants you dead. They find you, hunt you down. You could be 8 states over, 2 states over. Let me tell you something about my discerning spirit. I have it. And sometimes I don't even use it when I should. But I was listening to a story while I was trying to go to sleep this morning. And the first thing I was saying in the story was, I wonder if this man lived in the same town with his wife. First thing I said was, why didn't he move? And then the lady starts talking, people narrate the story, says, oh yeah, he lived in a whole different state, lived in Kansas somewhere, and the ex-wife is in Denver. She traveled to his state to kill him and his girlfriend. So see, that's the flip side of saying, well, you should leave her alone, run, get a divorce, do this, do that. Well, the person can still follow you if they have your address. And she only had his address because they had 2 teenagers living at the house. So naturally, she would have the address to where the ex-husband lived for her to know how to get to him and stalk him and the girlfriend. And the first thing I was wondering, what did he do to her? Now, that could be biased thinking on my part to just assume he was in the wrong in the relationship. But I wondered that. What did he do to her? Did he cheat on her? He wanted a divorce. He went on with the next lady that he was messing with. I don't know because they didn't discuss that to my, knowledge. But what happened in that marriage? To lead this woman to want to stalk her ex-husband, call him so many times in a day. I'm telling you, I can't even remember the number that she made one day of calling him, but it was a lot. And I ain't talking about 50 times. She could not move on. So this is what I'm saying, is that I'm sure there are a lot of people who have committed crimes, didn't grow up thinking, I'm going to become a murderer. I'm going to become a serial killer. I'm going to become a rapist. Who thinks about that? Nobody dreams of being those type of individuals. But sadly, people become those type of people, those type of monsters. This is why I'm saying, when it comes to jealousy, being vengeful, revengeful, bow out. Because this is the reason that hate grows. It's because you're still in the throes of it. The longer you're miserable over a situation, which is usually involving people, it just gets worse. It doesn't get better. And sadly, you can become a true crime story because you didn't claw your way out. You got comfortable and said, the hell with it, I'm going all in. You don't want to become that person. You don't want to become a murderer. You having evil thoughts as a young person, teenager, unsavory thoughts of sexual assault, incest. You need to call somebody and say, hey, I'm having wicked thoughts about my sister, my brother. Hell, wicked thoughts about your own children. Children are molested by their own parents as well. Talk to somebody and say, I'm having unhealthy thoughts, visions, fantasies. I know it's not right. Because you can't wait for somebody to tell you, hey, you're not supposed to be thinking about your son in that way, your sister that way. Because more than likely, people aren't going to tell, oh, yeah, I want to have sex with my son. You understand what I'm saying? So they harbor those feelings and then they act on them. And as I've said to you before, and most people know this, most of those people, they've been assaulted. That's why they have the fascination to commit incest, RAPE, sexual assault, because it was done to them. And we as people do what's comfortable to us. It doesn't mean that it's right, but it's what we're used to. It's just like the people who live in these wicked ass communities where it's okay to bed a 14-year-old and get her pregnant and marry her. Well, if she's lived in a community where her parents did it, well, then it's comfortable for her. So she's expecting to marry somebody 18, 22, because that's how she grew up. So then when the parents bring some guy around and say, hey, I want you to marry this guy, blah, 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 she does it. We all know it's wrong. But it's what you get used to. This is why we have true crime. Hurt people hurt people. That is so true. This is the reason why men, women lash out, call people dirty names, talk down to them, because it is comfortable for them. Because more than likely, somebody said the same to them. Bitch, motherfucking whore, dummy, stupid. So now it's easy for you to go out here and say the same thing to somebody else. Somebody was beating you up as a kid, teen. Easy for you to go out here. Shit don't go your way. Boom, pull out your fist. Boom, 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 knock somebody out. Somebody was touching you inappropriately. You're now doing the same thing to children, adults. It's because what you have become accustomed to. Nobody called you out on it. And you're mimicking what was done and what you have seen. And you know that a lot of these people know damn well what they're doing is wrong. What was done to them is wrong. But they go out here and they do it anyway. And this is why we have true crime. Nobody wants to go seek help. I have unsavory thoughts about my children, other adults. I am sick. I need help. Just think how better the world would be if people sought help. I am suicidal, homicidal. I am angry. I am bitter. I am jealous. I am revengeful. I am empty. I don't have remorse. I don't feel anything. If people would tell somebody they could possibly get on a journey to be a better person, to where they don't end up hurting another individual. But you hold all that shit in, that dirty shit in, ball it all up, you get comfortable with it, you are now out here acting as a predator. And sadly, people are comfortable being predators and seek and find enjoyment in it. This is why they continue doing it until they get caught. Some have been called out. They don't do a lot of jail time, prison time, and boom, next victim. And as for our judicial system, a lot of judges, they need their asses whipped, because a lot of them have allowed the perpetrators to go back out here and do it again, such as with the Harrell case. Had that Jake Harrell been locked up for beating his little girl down to death, maybe baby Emmanuel would be alive today. But the fact that the mother went along with whatever the hell was going on in her house, that same child probably would have ended up just where he is. Because it takes two to tango. And that's another thing. People going along with the sadists, turning a blind eye to sexual assault, abuse, seeing their child being abused and do nothing, aid the perpetrator, and God forbid, join in. And for all we know, Rebecca Haro, she was abusing that little boy as well. Because in order for you to lie, put out this false narrative of your child being kidnapped, the husband finally pleads guilty, and you're still saying, oh, I'm telling the truth. I'm not guilty. Somebody did hit me, blah, blah, blah. Make it make sense. She knows California law. She knows it's going to be very hard for her incarcerated. So she just says, well, I'll just continue to lie. I'm going to stick with somebody took my kid. I don't care what Jake said. Prove it. Prove I'm involved in an unaliving of my son. That's how sick Rebecca is. You understand what I'm saying? That you believe your own lies. And you're willing to go into the abyss on a lie and a murder. And we have people like that. And they're not the only ones, and they won't be the last ones. Just like with the Soto case. I stopped talking about that case many moons ago, months back. I had had enough of that because it is a spirit breaker, the Soto case. Because it goes back to what I always say on this network. There's always an eye in the sky. There's always an eyewitness. There is always some suspicion. It's a matter of who's going to tell it. And I'm not going to sit here and believe nobody didn't see the signs of this little girl being inappropriately touched. And the fact that a mother could tell law enforcement the day the child went missing that she would send her and a grown-ass man to sleep in a bed. Come on now. And you all haven't arrested her? You want to let that stick? That that's appropriate for a child to sleep with a grown man? It's bullshit. And I don't care what she told police. You all know better. Because it seems to me, Jen, she was down with this sickness, crime, and probably knew all along her child was molested by this man. And when they showed the picture that the girl drew of a child performing oral sex in a drawing, I wanted to throw up. I wanted to throw up because this is what she was accustomed to doing. I've never drawn a picture at her age of a female performing fellatio on a man because I didn't know nothing about it. Stay woke now. So you're not looking through your kids' notebooks. You don't see what they're drawing, what they're writing. You're not looking through their phones. Most parents like to sneak in the kids' room, read their diaries, their journals, their notes. Stay woke now. Grown-ass man not keeping a job, staying in your house. He's RAPING, your kid. You ain't keeping a job because you're allegedly mentally ill, drawing a social security check. It was the blind leading the blind in the Soto case. Reason why we don't have a little girl here. And somebody had to know something wasn't right, such as the roommates. Then we hear what after the fact? Oh, I said something to her. They in the same room. I just thought I'd let you know. And what the mama got to say? Nothing. Oh, I know. And they looking probably scared to tell police and DHS because they need a place to stay. So I ain't gonna rock the boat. I'm renting a room. I need a place to sleep. So I'll just stay here. Yep, I might have been. See, there's always somebody that knows the truth. There's always somebody that knows the truth. Knows that something's going on, knowing that there's some hanky panky going on with grown ups and children. They don't say anything because it's called self preservation. You're preserving yourself. I need a place to live. I ain't calling the police. I ain't calling DHS. I'm renting a room from this lady, her father. Ooh, I gotta have somewhere to sleep. Yeah, I know it's wrong. Something don't look right, but I'm gonna stay out of it. Then the girl comes up missing, and now everybody wants to start talking about what they saw and what they witnessed. Too late. It's too late. She's dead. And from what the investigators found, this thing had been assaulting this child for years. And I got a feeling that the mom knew all along. Because what did I tell you all in a recent live about people liking people? You can tell when somebody's sweet on somebody. Some people have good, keen intuition about people liking others, such as that nonsense down in Florida where a young girl is found dead on a cruise ship and stuffed under a bed. And then we start hearing he said, she said, of a boy jumping her in her room and climbing on top of her while she's on a live stream with a boyfriend sleep. Too late. But the point is, somebody saw something, and nobody listened. And when I was looking at his mother in the courtroom, what was that, probably 2 weeks ago, she was grinning at somebody, smiling. And the first thing I was thinking, because she's like looking over her shoulder, what the hell are you smiling about? Your son is a suspect in unaliving your stepdaughter. Your husband's taking you to court to get the girl child out of your custody, and you're skinning and grinning in court about what? That told me a lot. These people didn't take anything serious. Give two fucks about him liking her. Just like the father said, we ain't worried about nothing. We're going to keep doing what we were doing before she got dead. We're going to celebrate the holidays as if she's here. And we just going to keep everything to ourselves. When I read that comment the other week, I said, this is the very reason why she's dead. This attitude right here. You're basically acting like she's still alive, and she's not. Like she's sitting at the edge of the dinner table waiting for you to put her plate of food before her, and all you all going to sit around the table and act like everything's the same when it's not. These people were, to me, faulty. They saw that something wasn't right with that boy. They saw him probably nitpicking her, poking at her, touching her, sitting up under her, following her around, wanting to be up under her, all that bullshit about they were all three peas in a pod, best friends. I say bullshit. You're saying that because you don't want to tell the truth. You knew all along he had an unhealthy obsession with his own stepsister, and he viewed her as an adult. She ain't my sister. My mom ain't give birth to her. I don't care. I like her. And you ain't gonna tell me as adults you didn't see the sign he liked her in an unhealthy way. But your attitude after her death tells me you knew and saw the signs, you just didn't give a fuck. Because it's the way the father worded his words. We're gonna celebrate the holidays as if she's here. Ain't nothing gonna change. And whatever we got going on thereafter, we're gonna keep it between us. Sounds quite defensive to me. You want to keep what to yourselves from here on out? Like this little dirty secret of stepbrother liking stepsister? I'm woke. See, this is what I love about human beings. They tell on themselves when they talk. And he told on himself when he was alluding to the fact we gonna ease on down the road as if baby sis still here. And we gonna keep whatever we doing thereafter to ourselves. Yeah, because that's what you've been doing is holding secrets. And the fact that the father is a dirty bird, he's cheated on his wife with a child babysitter. Stay woke. You don't find that strange? The daughter is living in a house with a pedophile father, an oblivious stepmother, and ain't no telling what the ex-husband has done. See, you don't know people. The fact that the little girl is spending the night at other people's houses, you don't find that strange. You don't know. You don't say to yourself, why is my daughter wanting to spend the night at some other people's house, stranger's house? For what? Why? You didn't even ask her, hey, why you want to spend the night over there? No, you cannot spend the night over there through the weekend. Why? Why? Because you didn't give a fuck. That's why. And this is what pisses me off. Every time somebody comes up missing, somebody comes up dead, I don't care if it's a child, teenager, adult, this is what you hear. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I heard this. I saw this. And it's like, okay, well, why are we talking about a dead person if somebody saw something, heard something? Because this is what happens. Nobody wants to get involved. People either, as I said, don't care. They're scared to end up going to court, testify, don't want any of their secrets coming out, mishaps, criminal records. Or hell, they're just like them. They're evil. Choose a box. Because it takes all kinds. And the very reason why people help others who are dirty birds is because they are similar creatures. Because you know right from wrong, and you know you're not really supposed to be helping people who have unalived people, sexually assaulted people, beat up people, beat a baby, sexually assault a baby kid. What do you have to talk to that person about? Incarcerated, getting a bond, helping them bond out. Why? Unless you're just like them. And this is why we have people helping others commit crime, get away, stay on the run, aid them when they're incarcerated, because they are similar creatures. The very reason why you have people still rallying for R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, because they are down with that dirty, rotten type behavior. Promiscuous men, promiscuous women who probably wouldn't mind a woman letting somebody put Mickey in their drink. Well, he's famous. I don't care. I'd date him. I know you would. That's why you're rallying behind him now. But it wouldn't be fun if you were gang raped by P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, and some of their friends. Woke up and some of your body parts were unaligned. Think you might be singing a different tune. But that's what's wrong with the world. It ain't me. I don't care. I know people like this. I know a lot of men are like this. So long as it ain't their sister, their mother, they could care less. Story ain't about me, ain't about my family, none of my business. I don't care. Empty vessels. And that's why we have true crime. Why we have people who aid those who have committed true crime. Because we have a lot of followers. We have people who are not leaders. We have people who ride the ride for their own selfish reasons. But let me tell you something about those who ride the ride. Is a different story when it's their turn and somebody has hurt them or hurt their child, their sister, brother. Now they want justice. They want people to come out and speak, tell the truth, go to the police. But it's a different story when it was somebody else's shoe. Somebody else is wearing the shoes. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with it. It's not my problem. But then when karma comes back around, now they want everybody to get involved. Speak up, say something. Somebody hurt my sister, somebody hurt my child. We have a lot of people like that. Kind of like the trolls that come in the chat. They are the same. Lonely, empty vessels with nothing to do but wreak havoc. And if you're doing it in a chat on a channel where you know nothing about the channel holder, the people viewing, you do it in your own life. $2 cowards. You see them every day. They're followers. They only stand on what they think is right and what they believe. But they don't care anything about you, your truth, what you're going through. Self-serving. I'm going to put up a comment on my community page. What crime stuck out to you in 2025? Feel free to comment under that post and comment here under this video as well. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. I want to thank you for your time. Happy holidays to everyone in the chat and the viewing audience. God bless all of you. Please stay safe out here, especially once again if you're still shopping, buying items. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. All the stories to me are sickening. There's not one that's sorry about that, it's buffering. It's not one story more horrific than the other. Many ways to unalive a person, but it's all heinous. It's wrong. It's wrong. And many people need to reach out and get help. But many people won't. And that is why we have true crime. You all have a wonderful week. I will put up a movie for the week, and I'll be back with more stimulating content and commentary. Thank you for your time. You have been listening to the Vault XL.